We're here to do a tier list or really just give you a little direction on the heroes to play in the game. If you want to roll for a legendary, we'll talk about the legendaries. We're going to talk about the rares first. Rares are epics in all other games. They're the tier right below legendary. I'll leave a link to this spreadsheet down below if you want to look over it. I just put a brief description of what their skills do along with their leader skills and then also their team attacks. Team attacks don't seem to be 100%. Like they don't always proc when that person attacks, and there might be a limited number of team attacks, but I think it's just a percentage. If you know the percentage, let us know. Join our Discord. We've got a tier list over there for legendaries. I want to get more input from people who have leveled those legendaries up and put a lot of resources into them. Where do they use them the most and how are they performing? I need to know that information. We can all share it over on Discord. Also, I have a vigor testing tab to talk about vigor costs, how we can increase our vigor, what the math is behind getting additional vigor and vigor per turn, vigor percentage. So head over there and help out with the vigor costs as well if you know about how vigor is working in the game. And we'll get a video out on that for you all soon. So right now we've got the rares, Kay and Arthur. You start with them. Kay is very good. Her second ability can put up the bleeds. If you skill out that second ability and get those bleeds to a 2-turn, then it's even stronger. I like her. I think she pairs well with Hector, which you get right away in the game. Whenever Hector attacks, she can come in and attack with him. Again, it's not 100% chance of the time, but if you make her strong and she's doing a lot of damage, whenever she gets pulled in, it's gonna be even more. When she kills somebody, she gets a big turn meter increase to be able to attack again. I think that's strong. I think Kay is a good champion. She does get the accuracy increase for gold and experience dungeons. Not bad as well. Arthur is just our carrier for story mode. Really good AoE stun, especially if it's skilled out. We'll have a higher percentage chance to stun with the fire weapon. And we get advantage of using all the different affinities of the weapons pretty early on with him. We get to win one soon. And then in beta, the first beta, we got the frost one right away. I haven't seen the frost one yet, and I'm on story mode, maybe chapter 8. So we'll see when we get frost one. If you know that, let us know down below as well. Boris does damage based off of max HP. I haven't leveled up any heroes based off of max HP or that deal damage based off of speed, so I can't really say much about this. These two, Ban and Boris, go together. They both have team attacks that feed off of each other. This guy can buff Boris as well with one of his passives, and he does damage based off of speed. So if you have good speed, I'm sure we can get good damage. If you have a high HP, I'm sure we could get good damage. I haven't really seen an amazing use for these two, but I haven't been able to really test them yet. Baldwin is the defensive old man with the big shield. He does do attack down on his skill too. 2 hits where you do attack down. It can stack. It only does 5% each attack down, but you can get it up to 20% attack down if you just keep spamming that second ability. I don't think he's that great, right? He's over here. I don't have him in blue. As you can see, the ones I have highlighted in blue, I think that they're pretty decent, worth leveling up more so than other ones. If I had to pick one out of all of them, Ralph has been a superstar, and we'll get to Ralph in a minute. A lot of these other ones are healers. Those are over here in the green for healing. We'll talk about those healers as well. As you can see for Kay, I put a boss killer. She's green affinity right now for those bleeds that she puts on. And bleeds are 5% damage per turn, plus a bleed will do defense down of 5%. Burns do 5% per turn and then attack down. Chills do 5% and then attack speed down. And then we've got poisons down there with effect resistance down with 5% per turn. And then you can see marking here as well. So the bleeds, the damage over time that all those do are pretty strong on bosses, like really, really strong. Anything with high HP, it knocks it down quickly, just like any other game we've played that has poisons in there. Now, when you come down to Anguish, Anguish puts up poisons. He's blue affinity, and he does really good on the bosses. He can really slay a boss. So if you have him, I would put some resources into him. Like I said, you're going to level up a lot of heroes, and if you're able to scale him up and get them to 2-turn on those chills, then he's going to be even stronger. And he can do a chill on his basic ability, and he can do it on his third ability that hits really hard multiple times. I don't know if the percentage chance to proc it is high enough for my liking, but still, he's pretty beast. This one, max HP again, right? We've got a lot with max HP. This guy is the big guy with the 2 axes, I think, that we fight multiple times. Counterattack ability on himself, plus a little bit of healing. I don't know how strong that could be. Let us know down below. If you're playing these guys and you know that they're great, let us know. Again, another one just like that. Self-buff, stuns, freezes, and blinds. That's kind of more of a PvP thing, I would think. A stun, freeze, and blind that he has ability to. and PvP isn't something I'm focusing on. And even going through adventure mode, I don't really feel like I need to stun, freeze, or do that to anyone right now. Nicholas, taunts and hide. He's a little bit of a weird one. He does all damage based off of attack, yet he does this taunt, and he also hides. So I don't know. I'm sure he can do damage. I'm sure all these guys can do damage, but what you always want to look for is somebody that can do damage, but also either get a little extra damage in there over others, or do some kind of debuff ability, or really do some healing for themselves. Sarah is in here. She's got a great lead, 10% for all battles, HP recovery, AoE. We're talking about a healer along with debuff remover. She does HP recovery. All this stuff is based off of their own max HP as a healer, unless you're doing heal over time. Somebody like Oldie. She does a heal over time on her second ability. Her first ability does healing based off of her max HP. The heal over times, though, do healing based off of whoever's the max HP of the person that is healing. So if I do a 2-turn heal over time on my attackers, they're not going to have high HP, so they're not going to get a really good heal. But all these other healers do healing based off of their own HP. But she does remove dots. So I do like her. Sarah is good as well. I don't know why I don't have her in blue over here. As far as healers go, you know, these are good healers in the game. Down to number 12, Alkalone. This guy can do stealing debuffs from your allies, transferring those debuffs over to the enemy. And then on his second ability, he can disrupt healing, which is really good against the snow bear. So if you wanted to use him for that alone, just to put that disrupt healing on the snow bear so it doesn't heal itself, that massive heal, that would be pretty strong. Cormac is a really cool guy because his second ability only costs 1 vigor, and it's an AoE ability. He doesn't hit hard. He's really slow, and his attack is pretty low. But the more enemies out there that he's doing AoE on, the harder it hits. So he's a really good one for Expedition. So I've got him for Expedition over here, and you can level him up, use him for Expedition, and then also use him for your Talisman dungeons. All right, we've got a couple other ones here. We got a DPSer for this girl. She's got the 2 flaming swords, and crit strikes lower her passive ability and do additional damage on her skills. And she does decreased defense on the third ability. Hits really hard. If you just wanted a DPSer, she has this passive to where she'll do an additional random hit, so she can get additional damage in there with that and decrease defense on that third ability. I'm not saying that she's all around amazing. Ralph is still really killing it as far as damage goes. If you're looking for the top tier rare, I wanted to say epic out there, Ralph would be it as far as like pure damage goes and buffs for your team that are insane. And then if your teammates die, he gets buffed up all crazy. This guy's pretty wild. That third ability, AoE damage to the enemy, but then the buff he gives on your allies is nuts. And I've heard he can do some crazy things. I've got him now on this new account. I didn't have him on my previous account. I'm running 2 right now on LD Player. If you need to know how to play it on LD Player, anybody can. Just look on my previous video and you'll see the new APK-S that we're using for it and how to install it and do all of that. Going down to our other healer here. She's good. Heals, heal over times, and dot removal. If you're looking for a healer and you land on any of these healers, they're really good. Frederick has an amazing leader skill. His first ability can apply marking, and then his second ability heals everyone based off of his max HP, and then heals the lowest person with HP again. So usually I get 2 heals on my lowest person by 900 each. So 1800 healing right now currently. I really love this healing. It's just pure healing. He doesn't remove the debuffs like the other healers do, but as far as like pure healing, we keep giving him more and more HP gear. This guy's going to heal for a lot. And then anybody that's low gets that double heal. He's got marking to go up against the dragon on that first ability. He's got heals, and he's got an amazing leader skill. 20% accuracy. Look at all these other leader skills. 20% accuracy in all battles. I don't like to see things being resisted. I need those debuffs to go up, so I really appreciate that kind of a leader skill. Clementine, again, amazing. She's got evasion rate in the World Tree Dungeon, HP recovery again, AoE, and plus 50% chance for removal of the debuffs, and turn meter of 40%. I can't remember what that turn meter is. I think she does some damage too. So another great, amazing healer. And then Ralph. So we've talked about Ralph quite a bit. He is just, seems like he's just beast mode. He's really doing a lot of damage. If your guys die in adventure mode, he's still there to buff himself up and do even crazy damage. I'll work on him some more, but I think he's doing really well. I think a lot of heroes can do damage. Again, he has a decreased defense on his first ability. Having somebody that can do that kind of damage, do some kind of crazy buffs, get buffed up when somebody dies, and then do decreased defense on his first ability of 25%, decreased defense 2, it's really strong. We're getting all that damage plus some, and we get debuffs and then buffs. Rosier, if I'm saying these names right, she's another one that's really good for bosses. She's green affinity just like Kay. She does bleeds just like Kay. If you can skill her up, you'll get a higher percentage chance to do those bleeds. They don't go to 2-turn on that second ability. She can apply bleeds on that first ability though. And she's the crazy one that you fight that has the 2 blades of blood all over her. She's awesome. She looks awesome. She gives attack speed in all battles. Another great leader skill. I've leveled her up and put a lot of resources into her, just like I did with Anguish. And I love them on the boss. Gorgos, the main monkey, the fire monkey that we fight. I love them on all bosses, and they get me through that stuff. This lady right here has Polymorph, so we can do some crowd control. You see, I didn't really put anything else about her here. I don't really know much about her. She doesn't look that interesting, so if you've really put a lot of resources into her, let me know. I mean, having control of somebody, turning somebody into a sheep or whatever she does, could be pretty cool. This girl I've leveled up. She's the one that looks like a moth. I didn't really find her that great, even paired with this legendary, which I did pull on my other account. I just don't find her that amazing. She does do damage based off of her current HP, not max HP. When you read it, it looks like it shows current HP at the time. So, and it's up. So if she has 100% HP or 90% HP, she's going to do more damage than if she had 10% HP. That's how I read it. So you guys let me know on that. I didn't really find her very useful as far as her abilities go. This one, Turin, resistance in all battles, lovely, 20%. That's awesome. She does the skill 1 with the HP recovery that all healers do based off of their max HP. Increased defense on, she's another one that looks like a moth, is the one I'm talking about. Increased defense, and it's supposed to be increased resistance, I believe, on that skill too, but all she ever does is increase defense. So I can't figure that out. And then she does have a big heal on her skill 3 along with some other buffs. So buffs and healing on her. I think she's pretty decent if that's all you get for her. If that second ability were to give me those 2 buffs that it's supposed to, I don't know. You guys read through it and let me know what you feel. Okay, I want to talk about some other heroes. So those down there, I hope you have an idea of ones that you want to go toward for those rares. Before we get to the legendaries, let's talk about a few uncommons. Finn is amazing. If you want decreased defense, play Finn. He will put it down and stack them multiple times to keep adding up to a higher and higher decreased defense. If you need decreased defense on the Snow Bear or just decreased defense to do more damage on bosses, play this dude. Use his second ability and throw up even more decreased defense. It doesn't seem like a lot, but he stacks them up like a wild man. I like him. He's good. We've talked about Aaron in a previous video with the shared damage. He is very annoying in PvP, in Arena. That shared damage right here, it's hard to take people out with that on. It is annoying as hell. Great guy, counterattack. We went over him in the other video. I like playing him. This one is also very impressive. If you're talking about playing Kay or Rosier or Anguish or any of those people that put up dots to kill bosses, I've got this guy at level 50 and he's got a 100% chance to apply poison for 2 turns, no books required. This is another time to take bleeds off of him. He applies bleeds to himself, so he's taking a little bit of damage, but he's still putting up 2 turns of poison. Right now, without my K booked, without my Rosier booked or Anguish booked, they're only putting up possibly a 30% chance or 40% chance, a chance to put up a 1-turn poison. They might have 3 chances to do that when they attack, but sometimes they don't do it at all. Sometimes they put up 2 up. This guy, every turn, as long as you have the accuracy required, is putting up a poison. So it's getting that damage over time up every single time for 3 vigor. I think it's solid. This dude is really solid. I've been using him to take down bosses. It works. I like that about him. I like that we have a lower level poisoner for bosses in case you're not lucky enough to get one of the other ones. And if you just don't want to worry about, booking those other ones out until later. I don't know about heroes like this yet. We haven't been able to test all of them, so I'm not really going to go over all the uncommons. We're going to talk about the legendaries now, but something like this. Look at her skill 3. Attack damage based off of speed. This could hit super hard. We don't know the numbers. There's no multipliers here for us to do. We're just going to have to test this stuff out. And since it's based off of speed, I just don't know. I don't know how. Maybe she's amazing at dealing damage. She just comes in there and tears it up. So this is what we're going to all need to play test and get help on. Let me know if there's any other heroes in here that you really like and are enjoy playing, and any of these guys down here. Now, these guys, when they come into play, they do proc things immediately. So some of these are kind of handy. At the start, they'll come into battle and proc decreased defense. So in PvP, if you really had, and you're not going to play him, you're going to skip his turn or just use him to try to get some vigor, like dump a whole bunch of vigor gear on him, and then he loads in, puts decreased defense up, it'll help you out, right? It'll help you do some damage because you're going to use your other 3 to do the majority of the damage and have a plan set up. All right, going into the legendaries. Again, I don't have all the legendaries. I've got these legendaries, plus I also have Lot on my other account, which I just got him recently. I keep pulling Bedivere, which I did level him up on my other account, and this guy is slapping. This guy is hitting really hard, but he doesn't bring a lot of other things to the table. So let's get in here and talk about Lot really quick. Now, if just to start out with, because what you probably want to know is, hey, what's the best legendary that I need to get? I don't know that, but I can tell you that Guinevere has a lot of abilities that no other legendary can match. No other hero in the game can match. I mean, she's got a basic ability at a 70% chance booked up to remove all buffs from an enemy. That's insane. And all this other stuff she does, from players that have played her say that she feels like getting a crazy overpowered hero right away in the game. And I can believe it. I can believe it from all the stuff that she does. Plus, she looks amazing. So I'm glad that she's strong. Claudius does crazy damage plus turn meter reduction on the enemy, so you can keep doing that damage without them taking turns as often. I love this girl. I think she is a beast at doing damage, and that turn meter reduction is very strong. This guy, again, I've been playing him, so let me comment on him really quick. This ability here hits extremely hard, decreased defense as well. And then this one just has a chance to put up burns when you crit. Pretty decent, but not a lot of else going on here, right? He gets critical strike increase on himself. That's going to be wasted in game when we have 100% crit rate running around with people. He's just the old dude with a spear that does good damage. So this one as well, I played her a lot. I don't know. I think she's going to have the ability to block buffs, to block hard CCs and all this kind of stuff, but I'm not sold on. I wouldn't re-roll for her. That's for sure. Again, if I'm talking about these legendaries and you have some input onto it, let us know down below. Say, hey, Stu, you're wrong. I think this one's amazing. Here's where I use them, and this is why I use them. Give us some context of why they're good, and join us in Discord so we can talk about this stuff. Lot I just got. I'm playing him. He's got Oblivion, which is from Summoner's War, to stop passives. It's awesome. He's the only hero in the game that can stop people from using their passives. It's only for 1 turn. No, 2 turn on his booked out on his main ability. And he can do a lot of other stuff. Like he can give all allies the ability to do freeze, which freeze means that if you freeze somebody, they can't do anything. They're frozen. They're stuck. I think he's interesting. I don't know if I would roll for him right away, but I've got him right now, and I'm happy to have him. So I got him and Ralph on my new account. So I'm pretty set, like right away. So whatever else I pull, I'm going to be pretty happy with. I would love to get Claudius. I think she is amazing. She was really awesome on the first beta test. I've heard from people on the server that this guy is an absolute beast. I haven't had a chance to play him yet, but from what they're saying, this guy is doing some crazy damage. Changing the weather, giving himself blessing, doing all that he does right here. Decreased defense, 2 at a 70% chance on his basic ability already makes me love this guy. But this attack gauge right here, anytime you can take an attack gauge, decrease the attack gauge by 0 if the target is inflicted with a bleed, with 0 chance. I don't know if this is actually lowering their attack gauge to 0. That's crazy. Like really crazy. And if it works on bosses, that's even crazier. I would love to pull him and try him out, but I've heard he's a beast. So if you want to re-roll for him or for Guinevere, I think it's worth it. Claudius, if you pull her, I think it's worth it. Lancelot, I'm not sure. I haven't had a chance to play him. People are pulling him. Deals damage based off of max HP, so just make sure you keep that in mind. Get that max HP on him. Don't load him up with attack and feel like, hey, this guy sucks. Because we got burns here at a high percentage chance. We've got stun here, and we've got another burn. So we're really throwing up those burns a lot, which is pretty cool. He can change the weather to benefit himself. Could be great. Could be doing tons of damage. We got a big, heavy bruiser, full of HP, easy to heal up, and you just keep doing damage. Tristan. Yes, let's talk about Tristan. Tristan seems like a joke. Everybody on Discord, including myself, I've taken him to 50. I've loaded him up with a lot of shared allied protection. So he would have protection. If you have protection, he'll do these 2 extra hits. I've tried to find other people that have protection, because if other enemies out there have protection, then we can lower the cooldown if you're attacking a target with protection. lower the cooldown of his, but remember, this is a max count of 2. So during that round, only 2 times can you do this. Like lower his cooldown so that when he attacks with his basic ability, he gets all these hits. His basic only hits 1 time, but we can hit all these other multiple times, especially if he has a protection on. So I gave him that protection and see what it would do. And then I looked for other people with protection. I haven't found a boss yet, except for the boar boss that has the shields up. Any other boss you can think of that has protection, but I just don't like this guy. I haven't seen the damage from him. He does damage based on speed. He gives speed to himself to further that damage, but I don't have the gear to get that speed gear. In game, maybe we're gonna load him up if the target has protection and get some crazy damage out of him and do some really good speed runs. But I think he's a really bad character to give everybody as their first legendary in the game. Like they give us him right away. And I just don't think it's beneficial for anybody to level him up. Bedivere, like I said, does a lot of damage, decrease defense here at a 35% chance without books on these 2 hits, and does a lot of damage on this ability. So if you just pull him and you're like, oh, I'll take him, to me, he was just doing a lot of damage and nothing else, which is fine, especially later on once we get our teams set up, we'll be good. Sigrun, I've pulled her so many damn times, it's crazy, on like 3 accounts. I just kept pulling her and pulling her and pulling her. We get her for free as a 12-day login. Marking against the dragon, that's great. We get marking up. The dragon doesn't get his buffs up and strips everything else. Decreased defense, also decreased evasion. High chance. She's great against dragon, just to have her come in there and do her basic ability. And then she does the taunt, which we're not going to use in dungeons against bosses. And then defense AoE again with the marking. So I think that's really, the place for her. If you're using her anywhere else, let me know. Let me know where she's really working out for you. We all get her at the 12-day. I will do dedicated videos on him and what testing I've done. Tristan, dedicated videos on Sigrun, and I'll get those out to you guys, along with all the other legendaries I have and how I've tested them. She, I think, was a massive healer in the first open beta, and they've changed her a little bit. Or maybe I had a different weapon. I don't know. I just remember doing a lot of heals for her. She's like all the other healers. The basic ability, this one, the 1 Vigor, will heal based off of her max HP, just like all the other healers that do this, to the person with the lowest HP at that time. Okay, that's fine. But then here we've got like this attack gauge decrease, which is awesome. There's not a lot of attack gauge decrease. So kind of like Claudius. Claudius will do the legendary with the red hood. She'll do a lot of damage, a lot of AoE damage, a lot of decreased turn meter, but she's doing damage. This girl's going to give us a little bit of a heal, along with applies HP recovery to a single ally that has the lowest HP. So that could still be pretty strong. I think it is, especially against bosses, but it's a 50% chance booked out. So it's going to be a 30% chance. I don't like those kind of chances. I don't like these low 50-50. I want a 100% chance of something working, so I know that when I spend my vigor, it's going to happen. And I think eventually most games go to that. Nobody likes a legendary in any game that I ever played that has like a 50% chance to do something cool. You want it to always do something cool. That's why it's a legendary. And it doesn't make sense to have it at 50%. Like this is at least 90% chance booked out to do temptation on a hero. Seduce the opponent and they cannot be, I think they attack for you or something crazy. I'd have to look at these other passives to really get a feel for her, but it's a lot of turn meter reduction and healing. So I think she'd be fine. Not something, again, that I would try to re-roll for immediately, but I still think a solid legendary. But there's a lot of other healers out there, but that turn meter reduction, there's not a lot of heroes that do that. Amazing turn meter reduction. Okay, that's all of them. I want you to please come to our Discord, talk to us over there, let us know your thoughts on all these. Look for the tier list tab to talk about legendaries and any other heroes you want to talk about. Give me your input on the rares from this sheet that I had. Let me know your thoughts on these, please. And that's it for now. We'll get some more videos out on re-rolling once we get everything set up with the game and how to re-roll. And we'll get some more tier lists out and some more dedicated videos on each of these heroes and how we've made them strong and what we can do with them. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll talk to you soon.